When you look at things happening in this country now, one could smell a revolution. First of all, people are tired. We come from oppression, now we see the freedom. But the freedom that we think that is freedom is not the real freedom that we fought for. Free education, free houses, and so on. If those things didn't happen, the only thing that will comfort you is the music. African people believe when a person dies, it's only the body that dies, not the spirit. We are keeping the tradition alive. We are letting the people know the unknown. It's not written down. It's something that you will hear from the people that you need to learn orally. Today, we've got a culture because of those instruments. So music to us, it matters a lot.
To be a woman from this country is to wear your tough skin on the outside, is to show up with your guard up, with your guild in place, to guide your fears to the back room, to remember courage like the back of your hand, or to stay in your yard. To belong to this country is to be bruised every day, to wear the weapon and the band-aid, to become the tool for the stitching and the bare wound at the emergency table, or to bleed quietly. I think women are under attack. Black girls are under attack. Our state of mind has been under attack for such a long time. And it's only now that we're conscious of certain things that have been happening in our country. You almost feel like this is my responsibility in life. I don't know whether most writers feel like that like I have to do it. It's incredibly painful sometimes, but the fact that I can do it means that I must do it, because I think a creative's role is to kind of reflect the times, to reflect what you see around you. How do we merge poetry into social justice, and how do we find ways in which poetry can be innovative to start a movement, to change the way people think? The role of poets is to comfort and to disturb sometimes, of just mindset, for people to wake up, the call to action, but sometimes to comfort and to calm down and to heal. To belong to this country is to heal inside the fire and turmoil, between the flames and throbbing wounds, to look for a place that does not burn, or does not want to throw you into the coal as a sacrifice, or to play dead instead. To belong to this country is to belong someplace else other than here, someplace where you are the perfect sketch, not real and resisting, not radical and resting, someplace where your rights do not matter. To belong here is to feel strange. Where I'm from, women do not belong. Thank you. Thank you.
I get told that I'm obsessed with history, that why won't I move on? Why can't we move on like the rest of us move on? And I just simply won't. I just don't believe that until we've actually achieved freedom on all accounts, including economic freedom, that we can celebrate a victory yet. My art speaks about South Africa in need of more transformation, of a struggle that's yet concluded, that needs to be continued. That one's over there, the one's over there. My favorite one is on this very busy intersection down the way here. Let's go there. I had someone under the promise of anonymity make signage for me, same font, same vinyl, and then I changed the road signs back to District 6. It's not just a name, it's a piece of justice, because the street signs were changed in the 1970s, right after they named District 6 a whites only area, and they were forcibly removing the people to the periphery of Cape Town, to the Cape Flats. And they renamed the area Zonneblom to permanently erase the history of that area. Changing it back to District 6 was an act of restoration and an act of like vigilante justice. The fact that you can walk through the city and you can actually interact with the works, that's what's special. You can read into my art a quest to insist that the past is not over. People from District 6 mainly still live out in the dusty wastes of the Cape Flats, in poverty and gang-infested ghettos, and that's unfair. So at what point do we accept this, or at what point do we actually continue a fight?
After the burning years, the trees cracked and bled for months and began thinning with all the dying wildfires. People ran out of their houses to hold the trees up. Some rushed to catch their falling leaves. Others carried black banners through the streets. There's never any time where I don't feel the weight of history bearing down. There's this overwhelming sense of threat that I feel. And I don't think it's unique to me or unique to South Africa. I think that many people will resonate with that. Environmental threat, existential threat, government surveillance, the threat of technology, and the threat towards women and their bodies. I want to find a language to articulate things that are unspeakable in my own life and in what I see around me. And I suppose I'm using words and language to do it. When somebody says to me, you know, what's bothering you, and I can't find the language for it, that's when I really turn to the page. That's when the page has been an incredible space to sit in and grapple with. In the morning, I would go out into the garden to sit down with them in the moss and the cold ash. I read to them in some round, natural light with the coldness of two hands. I looked up. I whistled for the wind to blow, but the trees knotted their branches and would not turn to face me. I've never written a poem or a piece of prose in the daylight. I write at night. I enjoy the stillness of night. I suppose there's a sort of spiritual connection that I have to night because of my totem and my ancestral name. My relationships with people, my friendships are maybe the only sort of things that feel certain and solid and consistent to me. Everything else is suspended in unbearable ways. I think that it's in the intimacy between people that hope exists. I brought gifts for them. I did cartwheels for them over and over. I drew lines and circles in the soil with my fingers so we could speak again like before. But the trees grew quiet, too quiet. And then they grew hard. They didn't remember me anymore. Then they disappeared without turning to wave goodbye.